good to go. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me here today on Teslanomics Live. I'm your host, Ben Sullins, and what we do is we take a look at the week's biggest Tesla news. I kind of break those down for you with what I know of my experience and history there, as well as the news and different articles and perspectives that I was able to find online. You can join the conversation where we have an active discussion and Q&A going by getting on our email list at Teslanomics.co, and you'll be invited to a separate area, which is using a different platform called Crowdcast. And with that platform, you will be able to participate in the discussion here on YouTube, or if you're watching on YouTube, it will just be a kind of a one-way stream. You can use the comments and all that stuff, but I won't be paying attention to it. It's just too much for one person to try to figure out. So that's why we use Crowdcast. It's a much more intimate setting, much better. So if you want to participate, go get on our email list at Teslanomics.co. And if you are watching this after the fact, the way it works is I'm going to go through a number of stories here. And after this post on YouTube, I will put in the comment, a pinned comment up there, the timestamps of each one. So don't be intimidated by the hour-long broadcast or however long it tends to go today. You can jump to the story that you're interested in just by following that. And that also goes for anyone watching here and wants to go rewatch. You don't have to rewatch and find it yourself. I do that after the fact there. So the biggest story I have today, the one that is kind of, it saddens me. This is what I consider my short. It's something that I'm not too excited about, and I'll tell you why here in a second. And that is that Tesla recently laid off between 400 and 700 employees. I'll read you a little bit from the Bloomberg article here that says, Tesla has fired an undetermined number of employees following a series of performance evaluations after the company significantly boosted its workforce with the purchase of solar panel maker SolarCity Corp. The departures are part of an annual review, the Palo Alto, California-based company said in an email. Without providing a number of people affected, the maker of the Model S this week dismissed between 400 and 700 employees, including engineers, managers, and factory workers. The San Jose Mercury News reported on October 13th, citing unidentified current and former workers. As with any company, and this is Tesla talking now, as with any company, especially one of over 33,000 employees, performance reviews also occasionally result in employee departures, the company said in a statement. Tesla is continuing to grow and hire new employees around the world. Okay, so there's kind of the story. That's what's going on with it. Here's my take. If you're firing that many people, something is wrong with your hiring practices. There's really no way that you have that many people that are just underperforming in an annual review. Second off, it's strange, I think, to have all of the annual reviews performed at the same time. What if you got hired 3 months ago? Not quite fair to have an annual review. I do believe, and I kind of believe in the Netflix philosophy where companies are not a family, they're a team, a highly skilled, highly paid team. Think of like a basketball team. And it makes sense that at times there are going to be departures when things change or somebody doesn't, perform as well as they need them to be. I think, though, that there's two things, speculative things here. One, this was probably overlap with SolarCity, maybe things like customer service or different areas where they weren't needed anymore, in which case it would make a lot of sense because that is just simply trimming the fat. These aren't, people that are underperforming. Here, the fact that it was reported that they were related to performance evaluations really makes me question kind of their thinking about this. And that's where I say that if there are a few people here and there, then that's one thing, right? But if it's something where it's hundreds of people, even albeit it's a small percentage of their overall workforce, that to me indicates more of a systemic problem in their hiring practices and is something that I'm more concerned about with them versus just this practice of firing people to say boost your profit margins or make yourself look better on paper for the quarter ending. That could be the case. I doubt it. I really don't think that's in their culture, but I could be wrong. So taking a look at their job site, it is true. They have, 2,489 job postings. before the firing, maybe they had 2,000. Now they have 2,489. Maybe we could do a little research and see how many people they fired. But point being, I'm really not in love with this because to me it signals a systemic problem rather than just a few people that aren't doing well. Going back, I'll put the link to this video here, and I found this in researching it for today's broadcast. This was Elon Musk talking about his Navy SEALs layoff approach. I think that's an exaggeration. Basically, what's happening is Elon thinks in his statement here, I'll paraphrase, and you can go watch it, and this is quite old, but the statement was basically that in a startup, anything below excellence is unacceptable. And so if somebody's not performing at that extreme level, then they don't have a seat on the bus, so to speak. And so with that, I understand. Now, I think Elon and these guys, I mean, this is a long time ago. I think they've come a long way since then. So this practice, I'm not sure, if it's something that is strategic or what, but in general, it just worries me because there's no way I can really rationalize firing that many people in a given day or whatever based on just performance reviews. That to me is not how I would run it, and it scares me because I've been in corporate America for a long time, and these practices are not are pretty damaging to the company culture and then ultimately the profit margins as well. So there's that. Now next, I want to talk about something a bit more uplifting, hopefully. This is that Tesla is now offering insurance. Now, a little bit of a backstory here, and then I'll get into the details about this. The backstory is that in other parts of the world, their companies couldn't really, or other companies wouldn't offer insurance or didn't make sense, and Tesla would themselves be the insurance provider for their customers. And they had mentioned this a couple quarters ago, I believe, on an earnings call, where they had said, "Hey, we'll take a look," because there were a lot of reports about insurance premiums for Teslas being extremely high in the U.S. This was after a few people had really large repair bills, and so part of the deal is if they're some of these cars, and specifically the Model X, I think it's funny that they chose a Model X for this photo, but something like a Model X has these ultrasonic sensors inside of the door panels, and so even something as a small dent in that could damage the door's ability to function properly. And I've heard of people having bills for small dents in the bumper upwards of $18,000 to $20,000. And so AAA, I believe, put out something saying that they were going to raise rates, and then that created this kind of firestorm a few months back. And so here we are, fast forward, and now Tesla is offering insurance. However, it's not exactly like they're offering it. They're partnering with Liberty Mutual to offer it. And I'll just read to you kind of the specs here, and then we can talk about those. So it's called Insure My Tesla, and it's a comprehensive insurance plan developed in cooperation with Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, designed for Tesla cars. Insure My Tesla enhances the customer experience with the following benefits. New car replacement. So if your car is deemed a total loss in an accident or whatever, they will replace it 100% within the first year. They have a rate guarantee for 1 year. They have genuine replacement parts. They have 24-hour roadside assistance, which already comes with your Tesla, but now it's beyond the warranty, so apparently you have to pay for that after, I think, 4 or 8 years. I forget. I think 4 years for the warranty and then 8 years for the battery. So I'm thinking it's after 4. Optional rental car reimbursement to pay for your rental costs for as long as it takes you to fix your Tesla. I'll say this: I had an issue. My Tesla had to be towed, and they got me an Uber. I was actually at a 2-year-old's birthday party with some friends, and I had me, Jack, and my wife Jenny, and they bought us an Uber. They came and picked us up and took us home after my car had to be towed. So yeah, I mean, so they already do a pretty good job in this kind of area, but apparently this is above and beyond. Then they have this claims valet service to drop off a rental car at the scene or schedule a swap at an agreed upon place. So they're just going to be really accommodating, which I've actually found them to be extremely accommodating already. I don't know what the deal is, why you would want this extra thing, but hey, whatever. That's cool. Now there's all these conditions about every single one of those things they list, which is kind of funny. That's always a red flag to me. There's like a stipulation about every feature that they're telling you about. And when I did the quote, if you click on it, and you check out the quote, you fill it out, and for an insurance quote to be reliable, you have to kind of give them a good amount of detail, right? You have to give them a good amount of info. And so with that, I did it, and it was about 70% higher than what I currently pay. Now, I think that's because I have farmers insurance, and with farmers, I have 2 other cars on there. I have multiple cars. I have my house, and we have life insurance through there, and I may even have I'm looking at business insurance through them as well. So because of that, and because I've been with them for so long, they give me all these discounts and stuff. Oh, and I'm a AAA member or something like that. I don't know. But they really, really give it up. So I'm not sure if the quote I got was extremely high because of that. But a few other people responded to me on Twitter basically saying the same thing, that when they looked at it, it was a lot higher than what they already pay. So this could be good news, but so far I haven't heard of anybody saving money on this bet. So yeah, there you go. We'll see kind of how that goes. All right, so that was the big thing about the insurance. I am curious if anyone that's watching this now or after the fact does this and gets a quote that's better. I would love to hear from you. Please leave me a comment down below. I'm really curious how that worked out, because so far what I'm seeing is that this is not beneficial. It's more expensive, so we'll see. Okay, next up, we have a story, an update about TeslaCon. I even have a shirt to prove it. TeslaCon, if you're unfamiliar, or if this is your first time joining me here, first off, welcome. We're doing an online conference. Think of it like an online summit. And I'm kind of organizing it, and I have some other people working with me to do that. And I have a video there that explains it, but what it is you're going to hear from all of the kind of leaders of the Tesla and EV communities. And we now have 2 big updates for that. First, we have a new site, which I hope you guys like. And on the new site, we have the date. So it's December 16th, 2017. That is a Saturday. It's going to run almost an entire day. So it'll start pretty early West Coast time, and it'll run well into the day because we have a lot of speakers lined up. And so I can go and share with you, as I scroll down, who some of the speakers are. So the big news is we have a keynote speaker, and that is Robert Llewellyn from the show Fully Charged. I'm really excited about this because not only is Robert a distinguished actor, comedian, writer, and just a great guy. His show, Fully Charged, is amazing. And I didn't even know about this. I mean, he inspired me so much in watching what he's doing to try to help us transition to more sustainable forms of transportation and energy and all that. And so if you haven't seen his show, I highly recommend it. Just go to YouTube and search for Fully Charged, or go to teslacon.online and you can find the link to his show on there. We also have Kathy Chen joining us, who is a newer YouTuber, and she has been doing some cool stuff. She submitted a great proposal for us to look over, and so she's going to be speaking as well. We have Rich, the car guru, who I just am so in love with all of his videos lately, as of apparently are many of you. We have Sal Lopez from Spain, and we have Jesse and Zach from Now You Know, and of course Trevor Page from Model 3 Owners Club. These are who we have now. I probably have 50 submissions to go through still from other people, some big Tesla tubers that you know and love. And so, but we're also going to have community sessions. So if you or anyone else you know is interested in hosting actually a session, go here, teslacon.online, and submit your idea. Just a simple form, you fill it out, you send it in, and then we'll take a look. And we don't have a ton of spots. Like I said, it's only one day right now. I am looking to maybe add something another day, but we'll just see how it goes. So if you're new, haven't heard of this, whatever, thanks for listening to me blab about it. Go to teslacon.online and check it out, sign up for updates, and let's do this. Okay, next up, let's talk about the Model X recall. And this hit just mid to late last week, I believe. And the deal with this, it seemed at first kind of scary. Basically, what's going on is, and I'll read you some bullet points here from CNBC. Tesla is recalling 11,000 Model X SUVs worldwide because their rear seats might not lock into place. Sounds scary, right? The recall involves vehicles with the fold-flat second-row seats made between October 28th, 2016 and August 16th, 2017, so very recent. Tesla believes that only about 3% of the recalled vehicles have the issue. So apparently no one's been hurt by this, or I haven't seen any reports of that. And it just has something to do with the wiring on the back seat, that it wouldn't lock entirely into place. So yeah, that sounds like an issue. And if you have a Model X that is built during this time, again, that's between October 28th, 2016, almost a year ago, and August 16th of 2017. So a pretty big span there. So if you have a newer Model X, essentially, you're going to want to contact Tesla service, figure out what's going on, get this taken care of. They may have, or I'm guessing they probably have already contacted you. Now, my thoughts, great that we haven't heard of anyone being hurt. Hopefully no one has been hurt by this. And the saga continues with the Model X. I don't know what to say. It's just more bad news for Model X owners. I mean, there have been countless reports of issues with it. It has to be probably the most complex car ever made, which wasn't probably the smartest move. I think Elon has even called it a disaster when it comes to that. So, you know, I would like to say that, hey, this is the last we'll hear about Model X issues, but you know, chances are we're going to have more things come out of this. Really, I hope that with the Model Y, they fix a lot of these things and they go just much for a simpler, easier design, or potentially they have a refresh of the Model X coming up. That's my hope for this. I really want them to fix this because I think it's an amazing car or amazing vehicle. However, these issues just keep plaguing owners, and it just sucks because it's you know, their most expensive model right now. So there you go. There's what's going on with the Model X recall. Next, I want to talk about the stamping of the Model 3 body panels, and I'll hit play on here. I'll also put the link in the description so that way you guys can kind of see it on your own in real time. It doesn't always translate that well across the wires here with the screen sharing. So what this is the batter. I'm sorry, I think these are door panels. And this machine, you can't really tell. This machine is ginormous. It's like 3 stories if it's the one that I saw when I was there. And so yeah, a plain sheet of aluminum comes in, stamp, and then, you know, this guy picks it up and takes it out. And when it does, it is loud and crazy, and it is chaos. I remember when I saw it when I was at the factory. And so, yeah, anyways, I think this is just more about Elon trying to his rebuttal to people saying that the Model 3 is being made by hand, and then that's why their production issues were there. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool though. If you've never seen this kind of stuff, if you geek out on this, there's some cool videos of the Fremont factory, and if you ever get the opportunity, you should go check it out in real life up in San Francisco if you get the chance. So there you have it, the Model 3 battery stamping, or not battery stamping, sorry, body panel stamping in real time. Next, we have some more Model 3 news. And we knew this was coming. If you didn't see this, this is, I don't even know what to think about this. The first used Tesla Model 3 is listed for sale at $150,000. The posting has since been removed. Not surprised about this. And I'm guessing Tesla is really pissed off because they have sort of a friend DA. In fact, they added verbiage to their ordering process that says, and I'll give you my thoughts on this in a second, but here's what it says. It says, because employees are receiving special priority, all Model 3 cars prioritized to employees must be registered to you or your family member and may not be resold for more than the original price. Reservation holders will agree to these terms when their order is placed. Ooh, putting the hammer down. Yeah, I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't think they could actually enforce that. So if you caught that, it's not just employees, it's employees and their family members. Now, here's a theory though. If, let's say my wife worked at Tesla and I bought a Model 3 as a result of her working there, and we got it now, and we were going to sell it. Like, let's just say we didn't like it. It wasn't, you know, it turns out that it was a bad decision, or, hey, we're pregnant and we need a bigger car. This isn't going to work. Whatever the life situation may be, we decide to sell it. There's this kind of what the way, buying and selling goods works at a very macro level is supply and demand. Well, guess what? The demand for this car is through the freaking roof, and supply is basically zero. So I could easily see somebody paying, or somebody buying a Model 3 for, I don't know, about $150,000, but maybe $100,000, let's say. I could totally see that being a legit thing. Now, if my intent as an employee or family member of employee was to resell it and make money, sure, I would say that is malicious, right? That's not going in good faith with the privileged access you got as an employee. So I would agree that that's a problem. Now, whether or not Tesla can or would do anything about it is another question. Once I own the car, it's mine. I can do what the hell I want with it. Now, there are some weird things where Tesla may be able to shut down the car from the software and say, hey, we're not going to support it now because you sold it. However, I believe they would lose this battle in the court of public opinion. They may legally be able to do a couple things, but the blowback from something like that would be pretty big. Now, I and many of you I know are big Tesla fans, and we forgive them for doing a lot of things where other companies we wouldn't forgive them for. So maybe they would get out of it okay. But I have to say that if they really tried to do it, I don't think that it would go over well. So there you go. If you actually would buy a Model 3 today for, let's say, $100,000, I'd love to know your thoughts on why in the comments down below. So there you have it. There's that story. Next, we have something that I'm actually really excited about. This is the Tesla semi-truck video. Now, apparently this is leaked. It seems odd to me. And this is called a test mule, which means that it's masked. So I'll play the video for you here. As you can see in the video, it looks just like a regular semi, right? It just looks, there's this kind of weird thing that's wrapped up behind it. What could that be? Maybe a battery pack. And what happens is this guy was filming it, and this looks like Palo Alto to me, so it makes sense. Now, the deal is it takes off extremely fast. So it starts to go, and then bam, it just flies right there. Look at that. Semis don't go that fast. They do not accelerate that fast. Also in the video, people say that they do not hear an engine sound and there's no visible exhaust. So I don't even know if you can see, but it doesn't even appear that there are the exhaust, like the tailpipes. So yeah, there's that. Now, the thing about it though, I kind of hear a sound. And so I'm curious if you guys have watched this video. Again, the link will be in the description. What you think, because to me, I hear something and I don't know if it's sounds like a fake engine noise or something, but if so, that's cool. That if this really is the Tesla Semi, man, it looks powerful. I don't know what else to say about it other than I'm thrilled to go check it out on November 16th, which the invite I received is because of you great people for sharing the referral code and using that. By the way, it's on the screen, I know, for the folks watching on YouTube. The referral program is ending their $1,000 discount October 31st. That's only 2 weeks away. So if you or anyone else you know, so if you have people that you've talked to about this that are on the fence, make sure to let them know that they can get $1,000 off and get free supercharging for the life of that vehicle using our code, which you can get at teslanomics.co/TD. Okay. Next, I want to talk a little bit about stock. And I actually don't cover this a lot because I kind of hate the stock market because of its short-sightedness. But it is worth talking about. I know a lot of you guys are interested. A lot of you guys are Tesla investors. I, until recently, was a Tesla investor as well, and I can talk to you about that after the fact if you guys want. But here you go. So the Model 3 Q3 numbers for Model 3, which they filed in what's known as the current report, were pretty damning. They were supposed to produce 1,500 Model 3s. They produced 220, and so the stock had actually already been on a skid by about 10%. But then after that came out, it seemingly bounced back. And so here you have Morgan Stanley reported. They kind of went nuts on it. They raised their forecast to 379 from 317. Adam Jonas is the guy. He's well known in this space. And as of right now, in fact, I have to check YouTube because we have a little ticker going on down at the bottom. It looks like they're around 350. So yeah, I mean, the stock is doing really well. Same story as always. If you're long on Tesla, buy and hold the stock. It's one that that promises to pay out big, not in the short term. So if you're playing the market and you're trying to do the market thing where you try to predict everything and you day trade and all that, Tesla's probably not a stock that you want to be buying. That's just my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor and all that. So think about that when it comes to this. But if you're long on them like I am, I would recommend that you just hold on to it, because if they're successful, they could dramatically change the world and be one of the biggest companies, as many other folks much smarter than I have predicted. So just wanted to update you on that it's still a roller coaster, so hang on to your butts. Next, I have a story, and I'm not sure how I feel about this. This is the Tesla tax, and it's in quotes because it's not technically a Tesla tax. It's coming to Norway, and let me break it down for you just a little bit here. The incentives for Teslas in Norway, or I should say EVs, are kind of second to none. In fact, that's why Norway, I think, per capita has the most EVs out of any country. And they, continually are leading the way in this space. For, a small country, we'll say. China is the real leader, but, that's just because there's like 100 times as many people in China or something like that. So, long story short, though, there's a new fee ranging from, and I try to convert this to US dollars. It's about like $800 to $8,000. So I'm calling it $1,000 to $10,000 USD. And the deal is that it's based on weight. And so the only car that will really be taxed is the Tesla. And so this is coming into play, but the incentives, the regular incentives they give you, aren't going away. So it's interesting to me. I'm not sure I understand the logic behind it. But it's bound to happen. Something similar is happening here, or maybe it got passed, but it's not in effect yet. And that is, I think all EVs in California have a $100 annual fee to help pay for the roads. So typically the way it's done here and in many parts of the world is there is a tax on gasoline. Well, if your car doesn't use any gasoline, but it does use the road, then the people that maintain the roads need to get that money from somewhere. And so it makes sense to tax, vehicles that use it regardless of where they get their energy from. And so here in California, they're doing the same thing. To clarify, I believe that is only for EVs bought or, you take ownership of after 2020. So it's still a few years out. And actually, I wouldn't be surprised if that goes away because our government here in California is aggressive in trying to push EVs. So I'm really curious about this. If any of you guys are from Norway, let me know what you think. It really seems strange to me, but I did want to bring it up because it did pop up as a big story. Next, and this is related, and we'll just cover this one briefly. Hyperloop One becomes Virgin Hyperloop One with a big investment from them. I'm excited about this. I think Richard Branson is pretty awesome and does amazing things. I know that there's, Virgin Galactic has seen limited success so far and isn't really focused on the same things that SpaceX is, so there's that. But hey, I think that the rebrand is good for them. I think that now with the money from them, they have a higher chance of success. They may, very well be bought by Tesla down the road or something like that. That's kind of the way these things work when these big billionaires get involved. So I wanted to mention that just because I'm really interested and excited about Hyperloop and the technology, or the potential of the technology, and whether or not we'll actually be able to pull it off. So let me know what you think about all those things in the comments down below. Lastly, I'm going to jump over and we're going to do some Q&A. If I can find out where it is. There it is. There we go. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. There it is. And I'm going to do some questions here. So, okay. Hopefully you guys can... There you go. So it looks like you guys can still hear and see me. Now would be the exact time to make sure you ask all of your questions, or you vote on those as well. I'm just going to do a quick check on YouTube. Make sure that everything is looking good. It looks like it's coming up. All right. So Dave says hello. I'll click start answering. Here's one of the things, the way this works for those folks watching on YouTube that aren't a part of Crowdcast. I click start answering like I did there. And what happens now is Dave's going to get an email saying, "Hey, Ben is answering your question," and in fact, it will timestamp the segment of the video, and he can go back and watch it later. This is the platform we're going to be using for TeslaCon, and these are exactly the features why I think it's so awesome. So there you go. Dave just says hi, first time joining. Hi, Dave. Thanks for joining. Please come back next time. Submit your questions. I assume you're already on the email list, or by joining here, you joined on the email list to get an invite. Yeah, so there you go. Thanks for joining us, and I hope to see you back. Okay, next, let's take a look. Dane is here. He likes the type of dog. Okay. Second. Question is driving about 500 miles a week. Okay, so Dane is driving about 500 miles a week. I do road trip back home from school. It's $350 each way. As winter's coming fast, was wondering if you had any info on the Tesla Model 3 in cold weather or even Model S performance info. Yeah, so Dane, I did a video, and see, I wish I could comment on it here without messing the whole thing up. I did a video just this past Friday that talks a lot about weather and how it affects temperatures. I don't know what part of the world you live in, and if that's 350, oh, you say 500 miles a week. Okay, so if you're talking miles in cold temperature, you're going to lose the data we have, which we have a lot of data now. I'm working with the guys at TesLab, like I'm officially a data science advisor to them. We have, I think, about 5,000 vehicles, and every single trip gets logged, and we get to look at the data around efficiency. And so we found that below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which isn't very cold, we start to see about a 10% dip in performance. And then from there, it just goes further and further down. So if it gets really, really cold, then then you could lose up to 40%, even as some of the examples we've seen. So there you go. So that's with the Model S. I would imagine that the Model 3 is similar. You know, the battery tech, although they have different battery cells, I don't know if I'm sure there's some improvements, but I'm guessing that, you know, it's really hard to find your way around this. I mean, a lot of what the losing of the energy or efficiency is based on the cool or the temperature management of the battery itself requiring energy. So yeah, so there's that. So that's kind of what happens. So I hope that helps, and I hope you get your Model 3 soon, and look to hear from you again soon. Thanks for the question. All right, let's take a look from Vic. Will the performance Tesla 3 be available at the same time as the all-wheel drive and air suspension? So all-wheel drive and air suspension are related to each other, and those are coming later. So I would imagine, yeah, so for the performance one, I imagine you would need all-wheel drive for it to really be the performance model. So we'll see. Yeah, those are all going to come, I'm guessing, towards the end of next year. And I'm being kind of short on their production ramp, so we'll see. Thanks for the question, Vic. Dane asks again. Dane, you're blowing us up here. Hi, Ben. Have not been able to find definitive info about the pricing of dual motor and ludicrous options, right, on the Model 3. No, they haven't released them. So yeah, no one knows right now. A lot of people speculate that it'll be similar to what you see on the Model S. Which, you know, again, it's funny. I mean, when you get a fully loaded Model 3, you're pushing in, you know, if you add in all-wheel drive, performance option, all these other things, yeah, you're well into the price of a lower-end Model S. So I think really when it comes down to is whether or not the vehicle itself is the right fit for you, the size and all those kind of things. Because price, now granted, it's either a souped-up Model 3 or a lower-end Model S. You know, they're both amazing vehicles. So there you go. There's a question. All right, Dane, we'll go for it one more time here. If you have any ideas, Tesla plans for active blind spot monitor with audio visual warnings, it would be a software thing, and Tesla is supposed to all about safety. So with Autopilot, you have this. With Autopilot, you see it come in the screen, in the digital display. The question is, yeah, I guess with the Model 3, it'll be on there. Yeah. So with Autopilot, this kind of stuff already exists. So I would imagine, actually, I think I've seen some videos of the Model 3 driving in Autopilot that has it. So yeah, you should be good. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Dane again, about being 21 and whether or not you can test drive a Tesla. You know, I'm not quite sure why they have that. I did look this up. But there you go. You know, it looks like somebody there was able to drive at 19. So who knows? Maybe you can get around it or have someone else go with you. Cheers. Thanks for the question. All right, Gary in New York. I just test drove a Chevy Volt Premier. Styling aside, okay, this is a respectable vehicle with impressive features and range. Available now at about $36,000. After incentives and rebates. Okay, fair enough. Excluding the federal tax credit. The 36-month lease is tempting, or I can try to suppress my EV envy and keep my ICE vehicle for at least 2 more years and save for a Model 3/used Model S. What's your current opinion of the Bolt? I did a video on the Bolt. I have a friend here that has one. I'm a fan. The only thing that was weird to me was how the tech inside doesn't even compare to a Tesla, but, you know, and the styling, of course. Yes, I mean, it's not a Tesla. It's not even really in the same category, but it is a great car, and it is a great EV, probably the best EV on the market, I'll say, until the 2018 Nissan Leaf with the 60 kilowatt hour pack comes out. It's probably the best one that you can buy here in the U.S. Now, in terms of some of the things I don't like, I don't like the interior at all. The seats themselves were incredibly uncomfortable for me. You know, but look, to each their own. So if you take a test drive and it's great, I think it's a decent car. I mean, yeah, I think it's totally worth it. If I were looking to buy an EV right now, I would probably that would be a strong candidate. But I also would consider a used Model S, which is what I ended up getting. Right, when I bought my used Model S for $50,000, I was looking at a Nissan Leaf fully loaded for $45,000. So $5,000 difference to go from a Leaf to a Tesla, no brainer. So I would just kind of weigh your options there. You can probably find a pretty cheap Model S for you know, not much more than you'd pay for the Chevy Bolt, and you know, you'll be right there. So there you go. There you have it. Thanks for the question, Gary. By the way, I was just in New York. Love the city. Love everything going up there. Assuming, you know, that's where you were talking about, where you're from. Okay, Matt asks, I live in New York, a state with above average insurance prices. When I ordered my Tesla, I shopped around for insurance and ended up with Liberty Mutual. The advisor said they had an affiliate program with Tesla. This ended up being half the cost of State Farm and 2/3 the cost of Geico. Why does it seem that with the new Insure My Tesla news, that Liberty Mutual quotes Tesla owners are seeming very high? Great question. And that's exactly what, you know, I wanted to see from you guys, because again, I get a great deal because I have 2 other cars. I have all these other discounts and things with it. So I'm not really sure why it seems that it's high. Maybe it's because, you know, you need to go through the full thing and say, hey, what if I added my other cars? What if I added this? I'm a AAA member. Do I get a discount? You know, all those kind of things. So yeah, there you go. But hey, I'm glad to hear that you got a good deal. It will be interesting to see if this turns out into a real big thing and how many people use it. I'm not sure if anyone will really talk about that, but it will be. I'd be very interested to see. All right, Dane, will TeslaCon be archived? Yes, it will. TeslaCon will be recorded, and those that have tickets will be able to watch it after the fact. It won't be public. It's a private event, and seating is limited. So sign up for the updates, and you'll be the first to know about early bird ticket sales. I'm not going to widely broadcast early bird ticket sales because you know, that's the whole point, right? It's like, hey, for those that are interested that join the email list, this is the benefit you get. You get a discount over the full rate, but yes, it will be archived and you'll be able to watch it after the fact as a ticket holder. All right, coming towards the end here, if we were talking about the right sound, the sound of the air brakes is releasing pressure. Okay, you're talking about the semi. Yeah, it seems odd to me. The sound I heard was more of like an engine going, or like a police car driving by. Anyways, I don't know if you guys get that. I live near a busy road, so I apologize in advance for any noise. Sid Harth asks if there's a person that is on the edge of buying a Tesla because they're afraid of stopping because of forgetting to charge. Is there really a solution to this? Okay, so I think you're talking about range anxiety, essentially. Yeah, the solution is the supercharger network. If you buy a Tesla now with my code, you get free supercharging for life, for the life of the vehicle, and then you get your own code, which you can buy other Teslas and get free supercharging in that, presumably. So, yeah, the supercharging network is the answer. Only Model S and X owners are eligible for that. So it is a really big deal. In fact, something that, you know, it's weird. On the West Coast here in California, we have, people have houses. We install chargers at our house. It's no big deal. You know, and we just charge at home. I was just out in Brooklyn, and there's just a lot of people live in buildings. There's places like that where they don't have a parking space to begin with. They much less have a garage. Nor do they have the ability to install a charger. And a lot of people, what they do is they use the superchargers. There are also public charging networks like a Zolta and a few others. So yeah, there are options out there. And depending on where you live, if you're in the U.S., supercharger network is great. It really works pretty much everywhere. Other parts of the world, it's varying quality, but it's getting better and better. So yeah, the deal is that you just use that. So thanks for the questions, everyone. I'm going to wrap that up, and I will recommend that you, again, go get on our email list to make sure you can join this conversation. And if you have anything after the fact, you can hit me up on Twitter. I'm at Teslanomics Co. And other than that, I will wish you guys a happy week. Stay tuned on later this week. I have a lot of stuff coming up about Tesla being the most American car company, and some other details and some data I found about the Model 3. So lastly, last but not least, I will just say that if you if I can figure out how to do it on my screen properly. All right. Last but not least, when you free the data, your mind will follow. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys back here soon.